Hey, budding lawyers, welcome to the podcast. Today we have with us Miss Aashna Jain. Aashna is a lawyer turned entrepreneur with a startup named Career Solutions, through which she gives guidance on resume building, interview skills, and personal branding to law students and young law graduates. Hey, Aashna, what's up?
Hi, thank you for inviting me here. I'm very excited to talk to you and discuss my journey and your legal journey also. So yes, I'm very
Yeah, and
excited.
even I am very excited because this profile which you have is quite unique, because usually after graduating in law, people don't choose such careers. So
Right.
let's move ahead. Asta, firstly, we would like to know the story of how Career Solutions happened and what was the motivation behind taking this big decision.
Okay, I'm glad you asked this question. I'll clarify it once and for all for everybody. So it goes way back to the time when I was in law school, and in my fourth year of law school, I got placed. So I had a lot of time, free time essentially in my fifth year to just do anything that I want to. And at that time, I was getting really bored also. So I started helping my friends, my acquaintances in drafting their applications, their resume, and preparing them for their interviews, etc. So, and not only them, so then they started referring me to other people ki ha, Ashna se help le lena, it's okay, she's anyway free. So I started helping people from other law schools also, and I started doing it so much as to say ki, I mean, I had no free time left for myself, and I was doing it all for free at that time. So this continued, and then of course after law school I stopped all this, because then I joined SAM, and then post SAM I was in DUA and in the litigation team. So all of that just became like a past, and then lockdown happened, and courts shut down and everything. So I was in the litigation team. So we had a lot of free time because I was just doing draftings, and that's it. Court appearances, so as such they were not happening anyway. So then I sort of had free time again, like after so many years. So then I was like, okay, why not, give it a try. But this time I didn't want to do it as a hobby, because again, there are a lot of considerations when once you graduate and you want to be financially independent. And then I started doing it on a very small scale, like very small scale. And then by gradually it picked up, and then people started giving me good testimonials, and then word of mouth goes around. And then yes, of course, I mean, I started doing it full time, and then I quit my job in Dua also. So yes, I mean, that's simply the story of Career Solutions and nothing else. So, yeah.
Interesting. So, how did you get placed in the fourth year itself? Is it like, does it happen like that? Because whatever I have heard, pre-placements are done usually in fifth years, right?
So I'll tell you how. Basically, for a lot of law firms, sometimes PPOs happen in the third year also. Like, say if you are doing exceptionally great. Like, I've known people personally who got placed in their third year, and then they literally were free for 2 years of law school, the remaining 2 years. So that also happens. But yes, in the fourth year, day zero happens, and like a lot of law firms come to your law school, and they interview a bunch of kids wherever they feel like they are best suited, and they pick the best, or say probably the most suited for the role, for whatever positions are open. So that essentially happens 1 year in advance, as in, so you essentially have that 1 year gap, right? So if I get placed in my fourth year, I'll essentially have my fifth year free, and when I graduate from fifth year, post that I'm going to start working with the law firm. So that is how it happens. So PPO can happen whenever, like, so that is also again a myth that that people think ki PPO is going to happen only in the senior most year of your law school. It can happen whenever, whenever the law firm thinks that fine, you're suitable enough to say get recruited here. So yeah, that happened.
Great. So this three idiots type question just came to my mind. Is like, after like, if in the final year, if in case for some reason, maybe due to health issues or something, your one of your exams gets skipped or you fail in one exam, then like, do these firms consider that they provide you
So
some time?
again, it depends from firm to firm. So a lot of firms, so there might be some other reasons also. So there are times when students might get involved in some controversy and not health reasons. So then the firms might even revoke the offer. So, but at other times, there might be genuine health issues. So then these firms are very considerate. Like, I've in my personal experience, I've known some people who met with like some very bad accidents or something, and then they couldn't give their exams at all in the 5th year. So then, of course, the exams happened 1 year. I mean, like 1 month or 2 months post the actual date. So firms are very considerate about it, and they were like, "It's fine. You anyway come and join us. So exams ke liye to, you just have to go for like 5 days to law school. So that is fine." So they are considerate most of the times. But I mean, I can't speak for everybody. But yes, I haven't seen any case wherein they've rejected somebody because of some health issues or whatever. Controversies are different, of course.
Right. Okay, so that's something good to hear. Okay, when should a law student decide their future field of practice? This is quite a common
Okay.
question, I guess.
Yes, I'm sure. Like, so whenever I'm mentoring somebody also, like say if there are second year students, they're always like, are we late? Like, should we start deciding right now? I'm glad you asked this question. So see, I personally feel there is no right time to, start off a career or say decide about your career. It's when say you hit the right chord with whatever field you want to be in. But of course, there are certain considerations to it. Now, say if you are looking to get placed in your law school career, you can't tell somebody that, I decided in my 10th semester or say final semester, if you're a 3-year student, that I want to get placed, right? You have to start off really early because then you'll intern and then you'll, publish accordingly. And then you have to take care of your marks also. So say if you're a 5-year law student, you should ideally start deciding at the end of your 3rd year probably. And if you're a 3-year law student, there's hardly any time. Like after like say first year, 1.5 years, you start deciding. But I've seen people who are not exactly very comfortable in say deciding on the spot that this is my career option, or like I want to just stick to it, because they're probably scared that what if we don't like it later. So they take it slow and they decide it eventually, and then it's not like that they don't get jobs. I've known people who've gotten better jobs also after deciding, like after 5 years also. So that is not an issue. But you should take it as it comes to you, and secondly think about the monetary consideration, that if placement is a priority, then of course there is a timeline, otherwise there's no fixed timeline for the same.
And
Yes,
also, it's fine to be confused. So it's not a hard and
of
fast rule
course.
that you
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look at me. I mean, I'm switching careers. Like, I don't know. I'm like switching dresses. Like, say, from corporate to like litigation to now career space. So yeah, it's okay to be confused. I mean, that's how life is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What are the main activities a law student must focus on during their law school?
I feel again, like for a law student, there is like this one particular activity which no other profession has, which is moot court activities, right? I mean, you don't see it for chartered accountancy students or MBAs or any engineers, etc. So I feel as a law student, not say divulging too much into it also, but yes, taking a flavor of how moot court works is something essential that every law student should be indulging in. And secondly, apart from that, again, depends on which field you want to be in. Say if you want to be in research and policy, of course publishing and academics should be your priority. If you want to say get placed in a law firm, internships should be your priority. And if say you want to get placed in a litigation chamber, internships with advocates at all levels of the hierarchy of courts is very important. So I feel that there could be a mix and match of everything also, like say taking part in curricular activities, extracurricular activities, publishing, academics. I personally feel that it shouldn't be targeted towards one area just because you've decided what your interest might be, because at times you might want to shift later. Then what happens, right? So if you have a mix and match of everything, I think it works best for yourself only, for oneself. So yeah, I mean, there
Yeah,
shouldn't
right,
be a
right.
target as such. Yeah.
No, many students like start focusing on only one area from their first year itself. And if
Exactly.
later they
Yes.
want to change it, there may be complications. Like they have
Yes.
to start
Yes.
it from zero. That's it.
Exactly. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what are the basic mistakes you have seen law students make in their resume?
So, in their resume, I feel it's too diversified to be, like to be used for a particular organization. Like, say, if I'm sending my resume to a litigation chamber, right? And if I have a lot of things, like, say, if I have internships related to policy, internships related to corporate, internships related to cap marks in the same resume, that lawyer might not be inclined to hire me, right? On the other hand, if say a resume which only has a balance of all the litigation internships would be, of course, having a better chance of getting selected by, say, a potential recruiter, right? That is A.
Hmm.
And secondly, I feel that people don't elaborate on the stuff that they've actually done in their internships. They just write things like that, we worked on so and so law. Instead of just writing, you can't possibly work on the entire law in, say, 3 weeks internship. That's just not humanly possible. So instead of writing that, people can essentially elaborate on what was the exact assignments that you've done. So that gives a better credibility to yourself also. And, it makes things easier for the recruiter also to understand that what was the kind of work that you were exposed to and, what skills did you pick up essentially from that internship. So I think these two are the most frequently found mistakes in resume that I've come across.
Hmm. So instead of writing just the name and the duration, you must mention what did you do, so that what you learned, so that the recruiter knows what you
Exactly.
know.
Yes, precisely. Yes.
Cool. So how to make a resume stand out? Can you give some tips for that?
Again, I feel that understand the recruiter's psyche, that what are they looking for. Only then they're going to even shortlist you, say, for an interview, right? Because see, I feel resume or a cover letter is essentially the first piece of communication that you do with the recruiter. So if you don't do it properly or according to their needs, they're never going to give you a chance for, say, sitting in an interview essentially. So I feel understand what is the requirement. Now, say, I'll just probably elaborate it through an example. Like, say, if a recruiter says that I want a researcher in my organization, and if your resume has no research skills in terms of publications or like any sort of papers that you've written, any blogs, etc., or any research internship, they're not going to hire you, right? Irrespective of the fact how nicely the resume is drafted, how well formatted it is, how best possible internships you have, if you don't have research skills, they're not going to hire you at the end of the day. So understand the requirement of the recruiter and then start drafting the resume. So yes, that is something that I feel will essentially make you stand out, because I feel 90% of the people are just committing this mistake. They are just thinking that we'll highlight our best and send it across. So instead of doing that, think what the recruiter wants.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah.
This is, I think, the fundamental thing to
Yeah.
keep in mind while drafting a CV.
Right.
Mhm. Okay. When we think about career, like good decision making is very important. Can you share some
Right.
tips for taking better decisions?
Tips for better decisions, I feel you know going too much into, say, the emotion also sometimes disrupts our decision making. Like, say, I might as well want to be the best, say, matrimonial lawyer in the country, but probably my circumstances don't allow, or like, there might be a lot of monetary considerations for me for which I can't take up that probably. Or say I don't have the acumen, or say I'm not a good speaker, or say I'm not a good orator. There could be 100 reasons. Just because my emotion says that I just want to be a matrimonial lawyer doesn't make it a good decision. You can work on it, but if you want to see it in the practical scheme of things, I feel we need to consider a lot of factors. Like, are we dependent on somebody, or say, what is the kind of monetary consideration are we looking out? Are we looking for a stable career option or not? What is the kind of supports that we have from our friends or, say, parents? Is there any support mechanism in terms of mentorship for us, in terms of, say, and is there anybody who can guide us through this field, or we are just on our own? So I feel the culmination of everything should bring you to the fact that whether you want to take up this career option or not, or it's just that that you're just fascinated by the career option. I feel that because I've personally faced it, because I was just fascinated by the corporate world, and I just felt that probably that's the best thing to do, and like everybody's doing it. It's not that. You should see whether you're cut out for it or not. So yes, I think that is one personal tip that I would like to give. Yeah.
Sure. And also this thing you will keep on developing, because we all make mistakes, right?
Yeah, of course, yes, yeah.
Because decision making, yeah. Okay. Mm, okay. Are there any books which made a difference in your life and you would like to recommend to, in general, anyone or law students in
Sure,
specific?
sure, yeah. So there are like 2, 3 books which I feel that have actually made a difference in my life. A is a book called I've Never Faced Disappointments. It's about a lawyer's, it's about a judge's journey, and then after he retired as a judge, he started his practice from scratch. So it's a memoir written by an engineer. So it's a memoir written by his own grandson, and it was actually a book wherein, I felt that that person has faced so many setbacks, and yet that person has, like, emerged again and again, like as a litigator, as a lawyer. When you face a setback, say from the government, and then you just again, like, re-emerge. It's something that most of us are not able to do, or like, say, most of us are not capable of, say, taking so much some sort of a failure or setback in our life. So I feel if a person at that stature can re-emerge, I feel all of us can. So if somebody wants to be a budding, somebody is a budding litigator or a lawyer, or say somebody is not getting an internship or a job, you just read that book and then you'll be like, okay, fine, maybe there are less difficulties in my life and I can still, I'm more privileged, and then I can actually get better opportunities. It's fine. It's only a matter of time and, say, being patient about things. So that is one book that I'm definitely going to recommend. And B is Atomic Habits by James Clear. So I'm sure you must be knowing that book. Everybody knows that. So yes, that book again has helped me develop a lot of habits. In terms, very small daily habits of, say, say reading 10 pages a day, or like stuff like that. So, or say drinking water at various fixed intervals of time. So it has helped me in very minute ways. But yes, it has made a monumental effect on my life. If I see, like, in the past 2-3 years of last when I read that book. So yes, these two books are something that I'm going to recommend.
Interesting. Especially the first book is very interesting. I think litigators must specially read it.
Yeah, sure. Yes, definitely. Like, definitely.
Okay. Now your kind of a favorite question: importance of LinkedIn for law students, and some quick tips on building a good LinkedIn profile.
See, I mean, again, you should not let LinkedIn get to you. So you should realize that LinkedIn is there for a purpose, and then you leave that purpose there only, and then you don't make it your life. So you have to understand that, that LinkedIn can be positive also, and can have negative effects as well. So we might as well be aware of what positivity and negativity it has, and then we choose for ourselves. But yes, it is a very, very good platform for networking. It is like I connected with you on LinkedIn. So yes, of course, like, again, like, it's a testimony of that fact. And I've connected with various other, possibly my clients, or like, people I network with, generally people from the industry, a lot of law firm partners. I've all connected with them on LinkedIn. And if I'm having a conversation with somebody, it wouldn't have been possible if I was just sitting on my Instagram page, or say, my personal profile, or if I was not using LinkedIn. LinkedIn made it possible for me to just get connected with people and have a conversation out of context. Like, nobody questioned me that, why are you like talking to me
Messaging.
about all this? Because the purpose of LinkedIn is networking, right? Professional networking. So I feel it should be used to its fullest. And of course, if you want to create your personal brand, choose your target audience. Like, say if I start putting out science related content on my LinkedIn profile, I don't think anybody's going to read it, because my target audience is chartered accountants, lawyers, MBAs, etc., right? And not, possibly not engineers, at least as of date. So I feel that choose your target audience, build a content that resonates with them, and connect with people who you resonate with. That's it. I think these are the 3 tips that anybody, if they follow, they'll be on the top of their game for LinkedIn. But again, my warning is, like, use LinkedIn only to the extent that it doesn't get to you. That's it. So it shouldn't be like your source of validation in life. That's put in simple words. So yes.
Also, I've seen like people don't understand the platform. They consider it like any other platform, because they
Right.
start connecting with people like from any background.
Right.
I
That's
get
true.
requests from any. So I think if you must, as you said, you must set a target, and you must first understand what you want to do with the platform, right?
Exactly. Yes, precisely. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now we'll talk about the interview. Like many students just blank out during the interview, especially the first one. It happened with me in my first interview. So how
Right.
should one prepare themselves for an interview and avoid such incidents? Is it possible? Like, would you like
Yeah,
to
of
share any
course.
experience regarding that?
Yes, of course. Like I think in one of my interviews, I just blanked out. I couldn't even tell them that, these are my subjects that I'm studying in law school. Okay. And I still ended up getting selected. Why? Because I took it very like in a very chill manner. I told them, can I please have a glass of water, first of all? And then they were
Hmm.
also like, okay, fine, like it's something serious. So then they offered me a glass of water. I had it. And then I realized I'm getting too attached to this internship. It was an internship interview, not even a job interview. So then I
Hmm.
realized that I need to calm down. First of all, it's okay. It's literally just an internship interview and nothing else. And the moment I got de-attached to that whole thing, I just took it very calmly. And like, it's just the fact that we are too apprehensive about that, oh my God, what's going to happen if, say, we lose this opportunity? Or like, this is one of the best opportunity. Or we just make assumptions like, oh my God, this is the last opportunity. That's not how it is. There are so many opportunities that are waiting for you. And if you don't even get that, that opportunity at that time, it's okay. The whole idea is to just make peace with the fact that if you don't get this, the world is not going to end. And that same moment, you're going to take it in a very chill manner. So like, you treat it like a conversation. Like say, if you talk to a friend, you don't take so much pressure, or say, you don't think that the world is going to end if I say mess up, right? But if say you talk to a law firm partner, there might be some sort of a pressure. So you just have to understand that the conversation is not the end of the world. That's it. And similarly, you just have to treat the interview. And of course, if you're well prepared, if you've anticipated the questions, if you've practiced the questions before with somebody, of course, that's going to help and, take you to places. So yeah.
Hmm. Okay, cool. Okay, over to our last question. Please share an incident from your career which is very memorable to you.
Okay, so I mean, there are a lot of incidents that are memorable to me, but I mean, I'd specifically like to point out one wherein I was sitting for my interview. That's why it's memorable. And I realized that day that, that whatever you do doesn't go waste, say, probably.
Hmm.
So I was sitting for an interview, and the there was a very senior partner who was interviewing me for a job, and he said that, like, you've just mooted once in your life. Like you've just done one moot court competition, and uh, apart from that, you've done too much volunteer work in college. So how does it make you eligible to, say, sit for a job interview in a law firm? Shouldn't you be sitting for job interviews in an NGO or, say, policy based organization? Because probably your profile is more suitable to that. And then I asked him that, why? I mean, why is that? I've done internships. It's not like that I've not done internships. Just because I've not done moot court competitions doesn't mean that I'm not eligible for a job. So then he said that no, moot court gives you, an edge of, say, honing your oratory skills, your drafting skills, your legal research skills, which is why I feel that moot courts are important. And he was very correct in saying that. However, I could somehow justify my volunteer work wherein I had to talk to a lot of professionals for gaining funding, and like, I had to draft a lot of legal proposals for a lot of law firms and, say, lawyers, and I had to negotiate a lot of proposals wherein I gained the same skills which, say, anybody would have gained in a moot court competition probably. And
Hmm.
he was convinced after that, and then he offered me the job also. So the whole idea is that it's not like that if you're doing volunteer work in college, it's of no use, or like, it's just meant for people who are who just want to be in NGO space, or like who just want to be in policy space. It's meant for everybody. The whole idea is that what are you gaining out of it, and like, how are you presenting it in front of somebody. I think that day I realized that whatever I have, say, probably omitted from the resume, or say, I have not put it here. Probably that would have also helped push my application. But yes, it's not like that anything went to waste. So the 6-7 hours daily that I was putting in my volunteer work in college, they didn't go waste. They rather, they pushed my application and they helped me get selected. So I still remember it that I got selected because I did volunteer work. So yeah, that is the memorable thing. Yeah.
Okay. Also, I think students must learn here from this incident that how to answer a particular question. Like,
Yeah,
don't
presence of mind. Yes.
presence of mind.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Ashna, for this informative conversation and sharing your experience with us.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you like this episode, then you must also check out our other episodes available here. And please share this episode if this episode added some value to you with your colleagues, with your friends, etc. And follow us here so that you don't miss out a new episode. Thank you.